is going to be 44 degrees. Pretty good with that? Now we got 90, 45, and 45, which means we have what type of triangle there in the middle? Isosceles. So the legs are congruent. All right. So I got a pair of sides there. I got a pair of sides there that are congruent, and they mention the included angles, which measure 46 and 44. You set up your inequality in either direction. 46 is bigger than 44. As a result, all right, opposite 46 is AB. Opposite the 44 is ED, or DE. All right. So therefore, that is the conclusion we can get. All right. So the measure of angle ACB was greater than the measure of angle BCE. C forms a straight angle with A and D. The measure of angle DCE, as a result, we said was 44 degrees. And then we concluded that AB was greater than D. And then we said because triangle BC is an isosceles triangle, BC was equal to CE. All right, depending upon your penmanship and where you want to put it, in those boxes would be triangle ACB and triangle DCE. So by what we call the hinge theorem, we concluded that AB was greater than D. Now, if we go back to single triangles, which is 5.6, BE versus CE. BE is opposite a 90-degree angle. CE is opposite a 45-degree angle. Since 90 is bigger than 45, that allows us to say BE is greater than CE. The reason being, the longest side of a triangle is opposite the angle with the largest measure. All right. Pretty good? Okay, if we look, well, not finally, number 10, just to make sure we have all of our bases covered, the diagram shows two paths that lead to a park. Would a jogger run a greater distance on path A or path B? Explain. So path A starts here, they go 2 miles, part B goes 2 miles, and then in the middle is a what? Shared side. We have two pairs of congruent sides, and then the included angle between them is 26 and 25. Since 26 is bigger than 25, path A would be greater than path B. The only other application of that, if it was given to you, perhaps like a part C to that question, is if they end at the same time, who would run faster? And that would be whoever ran the greater path. Is the greater distance of the same number. All right. And then finally, number 11, the measure of angle M and the measure of angle R. Now, be careful with this. Only reason I say it is this. Those sides are congruent. All right, those sides are congruent. And then we look at the opposite sides, which is 8 and 7. Opposite the 8 would be angle M. Opposite the 7 would be angle R. And we would say M is greater than R. All right. Don't be confused. If they're isosceles but not congruent sides, then you can't make the comparison. So if like one of them was 4 and 4 and the other one was 5 and 5, you can't do the same thing. The sides have to be congruent. Not enough information, or cannot be determined. Like we did on number 3. We discussed number 3 the other day, right? Okay. Good. All right, so everybody good with this theory? The one thing I would remind you of that may not be in the homework, but will be in the review that we give tomorrow, is if you have triangles like this. All right. So we'll make them share a side. And we'll say that's congruent to that. And let's say this is negative 4p plus 12. And this is 24. And we'll say this is 10 and that's 8. Pretty much all the ones we did the other day, it was less than, so we added a 0 on the end. If it's greater than, and everybody understands 10 is bigger than 8, then negative 4p plus 12 will be greater than 24. So when I set up my inequality, negative 4p plus 12, please make sure you realize it also must be less than 180. Please make sure you realize it must be less than 180. All right. How do we get rid of a plus 12? Minus 12. 24 minus 12 is 12. How do I get rid of a multiplication by negative 4? Divide by negative 4. And when we divide by a negative, what must we remember to do with the inequality symbol? If you didn't flip it, would it make sense? Could a number be bigger than negative 3 and less than negative 42 at the same time? Absolutely not. Okay? Everybody good? All right. So I'm going to talk to you guys for about 5 minutes, but after that, you have the rest of the class to do 5, 6, and 5, 7. All right. All right. So, a couple things. I graded the quizzes the other day, and I'm waiting until I grade. I put the 5, 6, and 5, 7 homework in before I put those grades in. So those grades will be in either tomorrow or Wednesday. We meet again on Wednesday, correct? We don't have to wish each other happy. Now, a couple things moving forward. Number one, keep in mind that this is an honors class. So an 84 in here is equivalent to a 92. All right, and I know how many people are concerned about their grades, but keep that in mind. So there are certain things, all right, that you have to realize. All right, the class will continue to be challenging. All right, that's not going to stop. Number two, and this is the most important thing. Well, not the most important, but the most up-to-date thing. We're going to live stream every day from now on. So if you're at home, all right, and you need to ask questions or you need to pay attention to a lesson, then we'll live stream each day at this time. All right. That's what it's going to look like. All right. So I'll open this up so that if you have any questions at any point, all you got to do is type them in. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to raise your hand. All right. There will be a video of it, a recording of it. Your class, so this class will be, and then the next class. So basically, that would be something I would suggest. Number two, once again, if you are disappointed with your grade, Math Lab is available Mondays after school, Tuesdays after school, Thursdays after school in the 910 library. They will be there after school if anybody's looking for extra help. All right? Monday and Thursday, there's also virtual Math Lab. Obviously not this week because Thursday's Thanksgiving, but each week. So 1 day a week, you should be in school for regular Math Lab. 1 day a week, you should be in school for virtual Math Lab. All right? So please make sure you take advantage of every opportunity. Okay? The other thing I would talk to all of you about is time, because people seem to be running out of time on quizzes. This would be my issue about that in terms of being a teacher. All right? You just took the quiz. If you did not, I will email you today about scheduling and makeup, but I don't know if anybody in here. All right? One of the problems was true false. How long should that one have taken? 10 seconds. One was an angle puzzle where you had to fill in missing angle measures. And if you know your properties, that shouldn't have taken you that long. One was a problem where you had to identify, all right, whether there was a shared side, shared angle, both, or neither. Again, shouldn't have taken you long. Okay? Those three problems should have taken you somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 minutes, in all honesty. Maybe 10, because the number puzzle one. If it takes you a long time to think of those problems, then you need to better prepare. You need to be on top of your notes. If I ask you to list the alphabet, you can do that pretty quickly. Now, I'm not saying this is comparable to the alphabet, because otherwise you would have been learning this in first grade. But what I am saying is, instead of waiting till the last night to do things, you should be reading your notes every night. When you get an assignment, for example, the assignment that was due last Friday, the isosceles triangle property one, there was 5 problems and you had an entire week to do it. That's a message, guys, that you need to start working on that right away. So that if you have questions about things, you can use this to ask. You can message in Google Classroom to ask. All right, and we'll try to start walking you through things. When you wait until Friday evening at 7 o'clock, you're waiting too long. It's not intended to take a couple minutes. All right? So you got to sometimes take a better use of your time. All right? But getting back to the quiz, that would have left you with 3 proofs and approximately 30, 35 minutes to do. I think that's enough time to do those proofs, especially since they're filled. All right? So if you need to streamline some things, if we need to work on things. All right, now for those of you that don't like proofs, I have good news. Once we come back from break, all right, so we'll get into that part. All right. So tomorrow is Tuesday. Okay, I will post a quiz review that if you would like to grab and start working on, because you don't want to work on it over the break. Covers 5.1, 5.6, and 5.7. All right, you work on it tomorrow, or you can come in on Wednesday and work on it in class in here. It's up to you. All right, but it will be posted tomorrow. I'll have hard copies of it for you if you want on Wednesday. All right, we meet again the following Tuesday. You post that Monday night in Google Classroom. So you have the Monday when we come back. You won't have any additional homework on Monday when we come back. You got me? All right, so you'll have, that gets posted on Monday night. We'll go over it on Tuesday, which means your quiz will be on the Wednesday the week we come back from 5.1, 5.6, 5.7. Did we do equation of a line with a mid-segment last week? Y equals mx plus b, where we gave you midpoints. We didn't do that in here? So we got to go through that. Okay, that's what we'll do in a minute. Okay, so that'll be posted. You can work on that either tomorrow or Wednesday, so you don't have any homework over the break. We'll go through that. After that, we're going to jump a chapter to chapter 9, diagram right there. So those of you that have already started to hate proofs, we're going to go away from proofs. We do Pythagorean theorem and trig. All right, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Did you guys get through simplifying radicals last year and algebra 1? Let me ask you this. Were you at home when you went through simplifying radicals? Like the square root of 98 is 7 root 2. You were at home? It was like at the end of the year. Okay. So we got to spend more time on that, which is completely fine. All right. And then we'll work on Pythagorean theorem and the applications of that. So for those of you that don't like proofs, that's where we're going to next. So that may be a sigh of relief or something. All right. So let's then do equation of a line, the mid-segment. Because I know I did that with some classes and not others. Triangle properties, equation of a mid-segment 2020. All right. Okay. Oh, maybe it's a little smaller. Okay. So here's what we got. Given triangle PAR, this is the last problem of the day, I promise. Given triangle PAR, where T is the midpoint of side PA and Y is the midpoint of side PR. Let the coordinates of the vertices be the following. P, negative 210. A, 4, negative 4. R, 6, negative 8. Find the equation of mid-segment TY. Okay, so it's the very first thing we should do. And you can just pay attention to this. You'll have another practice. I'll put this on the quiz. It's the very first thing we should do if they're involving coordinate points. Right. Pocket points. All right, it doesn't have to be perfect, so you don't necessarily need graph paper, but it'll give you an idea of where the points are. I'll have to check your work to see if it makes sense. The negative 210 is somewhere up there. Okay. A, 4, negative 4 is probably about there. R, negative 6, negative 8 is going to be further out and further down. So R, negative 6, negative 8. And then connect them to make your triangle. Any issues with any of that? Okay, so next it says that T is the midpoint of PA and Y is the midpoint of PR. So PA is over here. So there's that midpoint, which is going to be T. Remember, from earlier in the year, the midpoint is just the average of the coordinates. I'm just going to add up and divide by 2. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. What's half of 2? 1. Okay? 10 minus 4 is 6. Half of 6 is 3. Now, here's where you have choices. And it's up to you. You have to realize that a mid-segment is, of course, what? From 5.1. Parallel. So these two slopes are exactly the same. So if I look at this, and this is for people that are visual, I'm going from negative 8 up to negative 4. So I'm going up 4, that's my rise, and negative 6 over to 4 is 10. Can I reduce 4 10? Yeah, I got 2/5. So my slope is 2/5. Well, that means the slope of that line is also what? 2/5. So it's your choice. If you want to take the points they give you and find the slope and use the one midpoint, that's fine. Or what can you do? You can find the other midpoint. And that's going to be Y, the letter, not the question. Negative 6 and negative 2 is negative 8. Half of that is negative 4. Negative 8 to 10 is 2. Half of that is 1. So it might be in the wrong place, but other than that, I'm okay. It should actually be above, but I'm just sketching it out. All right, so negative 4, 1. All right, now you have to come up with it in Y equals mx plus b format. You have two choices. Choice number 1 that most of us do is we go directly to Y equals mx plus b. All right, where x and y come from my point, and I'm going to solve for b. So why would I pick 1, 3 in that case? Either way, whatever method I do, why would I pick 1, 3? They're both positive. All right, we ignore negative, we avoid negatives when we can. So the y becomes 3. The slope is what? 2 over 5. Remember to keep the x in the same point, so that's 1 plus b. Anything times 1 stays exactly the same. Everybody okay with what I did there? Just converted it to fifths? Okay. Now I got 13 over 5 equals B. In this class, unless told otherwise, feel free to leave it as an improper fraction. All right, I'll leave it to your Algebra 2 teacher if they want you to change that. So my answer would be y equals 2/5 x plus 13 over 5. All good? Okay, so that leaves us with, oh, I'm sorry, the other method of doing it, which is point slope format. Y equals m, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Again, if you were either taught this or you like this, the y and the x stay, the 2/5, and then the y1 and the x1 are my point once again. So that's going to be y minus 3 equals 2/5 x minus 1. If it says the equation of a line, you're done. But if it says the equation of a line in slope-intercept format, we're going to use distributive law. So y minus 3 equals 2/5 x minus 2/5. And how do I get rid of the minus 3? I add it, and y equals 2/5 x plus 13. Does that line look like it could be 2/5 x plus 13/5? Yep, my y-intercept is positive, my slope is positive, 2/5, boom, good to go. All right, so that there's not going to be systems or quadratics on the next one. The algebraic application on the next one will be equation of one. They'll be finding midset. Good. Everybody got a good idea of what's going on moving forward. All right, so you got about 13, 14 minutes if you want to get started on 5, 6, and 5, 7. Remember, both of those are due tonight at midnight. Then we'll put those grades in, and then we'll put the quiz in.